Well, good morning. I'm glad you decided to join us. I'm here with Scott Larsen this morning. We're talking about a very important subject, skin cancer. In the state of Florida, if you're going to be out there on the water, and even if you're just outside doing yard work, you're exposed to the sun for any extended amount of time, you really have to use skin protection. And we're going to be talking to Scott about that this morning. He's a pro staffer for a company called Scales and Whitetails, and you can check him out on the internet. We talk about it in our show. And it's very important that you use these types of garments that protect you from the sun, whether it's a hat, a handkerchief, a bandana, a face mask. Very important. And actually, Scales and Whitetails has some great designs if you like different types of designs, camouflage, even redfish tail. Pretty cool stuff. So we're going to talk about that and how to prevent skin cancer and how to be real careful out there when you're on the water. And also, we're going to talk about redbone rods a little bit. Scott also reps for redbone rods. Really a quality fishing rod manufacturer, all graphite, all quality products, quality materials that are put into there. The manufacturing is incredible. Really a great product. So we talk about fishbone rods and what to look for in a fishing rod, and what types of lines to use with them, and what works, what doesn't. So if you're out looking to pay a little bit of money for a fishing rod, you definitely want to listen to this. Some great information on how to even go out and test the rods. What makes a strong rod? What should I look for, listen for? How do I bend it up to see if it's going to be good? So great information. We sure do appreciate it. Scott Larsen's a great guy, has some fantastic information, and let's go right to it to Scott.
Yeah, sunblock. It's a nice little mask. You protect yourself for cancer and everything, so you won't get burnt. She's got a lot of nice design on them. You could check her webpage out. Scales and Whitetails, and my favorite fish, the redfish, on that mask. And she's got gloves and other new products coming out.
Oh yeah, I'm actually at the website now, taking a look at it now. If you go to it, it's Scales, it's C-A-L-E-S, and then the letter N, and then Whitetails. So if you go to the website, yep. And really, yeah, she definitely has some nice stuff. Go ahead, bud. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just going to look at some of her stuff here.
Yeah, her name's Hershey Simon, and she's up in Jacksonville. But it's just a nice. I always wear these because I get burnt real bad. I'm scared, to get cancer and everything. Get checked every year. You don't want to get the bad cancer. If you're out in the sun, use all these screen, but actually get clothes. Try to get clothes that's going to breathe. Wear more clothes.
Honestly, I've got my father's second wife is dealing with skin cancer right now. And as a matter of fact, she went up last week and had to have some, usually it's just a little patch. Like, well, it's not a big deal. She had a very large section of her scalp that they had to dig in and take out. And skin cancer in the state of Florida is nothing to play games with. I mean, if you're, I know you guys are out there constantly, and that's why they wear the bandanas and the scarves and the long sleeve shirts. It's hot, folks. I'll tell you right now. You see a guy out there fishing, and he's got long sleeve shirts on and hats and bandanas wrapped around his neck and face. It's not because he wants to look like a bandit. It's because he doesn't want to get skin cancer, and or her or whoever it is. And so you just got to be careful down here. And my stepmom-in-law is really going through it. It's a hard time. I mean, we're talking about the scalp, the neck, the shoulders, wherever the sun's beating down on you the hardest is really where you're going to pay for it. And getting to something like what Harriet's place has here, and covering up your face, your neck, your head, whatever you got to do, cover it, because it's just not worth dealing with skin cancer. That's for sure.
Yeah, all these blocks and stuff, you gotta wear clothes. They got so many clothes out right now. It breathes, they're comfortable. Actually, when you sweat, it kind of gives a little bit cool. It kind of breathes. The mask she makes, they're real light. They're not real heavy like some of them are. They're stylish. I like them because they got the redfish tail on them. That's my favorite.
Oh yeah.
But just cover your face, wear a hat, wear sunglasses. Just protect yourself on the water, because I'm on the water so much, and I still have to go to doctors, especially if you're real fair skinned. That's where your skin ain't protected really well. You burn really easy, and that's not good.
Not at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I was reading on her site here, they use a microfiber that she actually makes the scarves and the bandanas out of, and the face masks. And so it definitely, like you say, it breathes really nice. So you could feel cool. I mean, I've worn some of this attire, and you actually can feel cool with long sleeve shirts and a bandana if it's made out of this type of microfiber. And so, and hey, like you say though, Scotty, you just don't want to take a chance out there with skin cancer. Just not worth it.
Yeah, that microfiber, it's cool. I mean, when you feel the wind, you can actually feel the wind going through the mask.
Mm-hmm.
But when you pull it off, you don't have no sun, you don't have no little spots. You're not going, I wish I didn't do that. My neck, my neck. A lot of people, they get that neck, and that's really dangerous because the doctor I go see, it hits the necks, around the cheek, the nose, your ears. You got to protect your ears. Just definitely wear a hat and glasses, and try these products up. And it's got nice redfish. She's got camos for turkey, and they're just really nice clothing.
Oh yeah, they're really nice designs. I love it. And I'll tell you what, when you're on the water and you don't even think about it, whether you're fishing or on the beach or just out boating on a little leisure trip, the sun hits the water, reflects off the water, and it hits you on angles that it would never hit you if you were out on land. And so the water kind of acts like a mirror. So you get UV that's coming up from the water, you got UV coming from the sun, so you got it coming from just about every possible direction it could come from. And so if you're not wrapped up pretty good and protected, you're gonna get in some serious trouble when you get a little bit older.
Yeah, you're right, because you can wear a hat and everything, and the sun will reflect off that water and bounce and burn you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I wore a hat. Why did it burn me like that? And it's like a mirror, and you're looking in the water, and you just get burnt. It's so easy to get burnt out here.
Well, it made a believer out of my dad since his wife had to go up. Now, he'd always wear just a little baseball cap. And, I've got that big surround fishing hat, wraps around my shoulders and everything. And he looks at me and goes, what the hell you got that? I'm like, I don't want to end up with skin cancer when I get, 50, 60 years old. And
they look at you like you're goofy, but hey, you're just protecting yourself. And well, that Indiana Jones hat out there.
Yeah, exactly. I need something wide and big so I can cover my shoulders and everything. And you know what, though? Seeing what his wife went through, he went out and got a big hat, and now he uses sunblock and a handkerchief and bandana and everything. Because you see somebody that goes through that, and like it's one thing, if you have, and a lot of people say, oh, skin cancer, that's no big deal. They burn a little spot off you. Well, if you're really lucky, they might burn a little spot off you. But for most people, you're going to be going back to the doctor every month to have something cut off you.
But you get that I think it's melanoma, or I can't even
melanoma, I think it is. I can't speak, Scotty.
I can't pronounce
I can't talk.
But that's the worst one, and my wife's actually a nurse, and they got a lot of older people coming down, and they get that, and that's the #1 killer cancer spot, and it spreads and to get checked every year.
It is, and it's easy to miss. If somebody's not actually going up and down your back and your neck, it ends up in areas that you really don't notice it, and by the time they find it, hopefully they'll be able to just burn a little something off and not have to start digging around. And so one person you ever see that goes through that, I guarantee anybody listening, you'll wear a hat, you'll wear a bandana, you'll wrap yourself up before you get out there and play in the sun.
Yeah, just don't depend on sunblock all the time, because you get out there, and on the tour we can't really use it. They got some products out there you can use it, but you stick your hand into your live well, it kills your bait. It kills your redfish. I can't use it, and so I have to depend on these clothes and everything else to block that sun.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know, you ever got that stuff on your hands, a sunblock, and you stick your hand in the live well and you watch all the fish die?
I've seen not only that, but I go to tie on a new even artificial bait, and you end up with that oily sunblock on the bait. And I can assure you, if a redfish smells coconut or whatever they make that stuff out of, he's going to go, what the hell kind of a pinfish is this,
Yeah, and that's true, because when you got that scent, I don't get that on your bait. I tell them, don't get that. You won't catch nothing. He'll look at it and, well, then they have to put the Pro Cure on it, but still, that stuff on the line and
It's on everything.
anything with that scent, and then you put oil, and it's hard to get that grease out of your live well, and then, because what it does is put a layer and knocks the oxygen out of the fish.
Absolutely.
Of your bait and everything.
And it's designed not to wash away, so that's the biggest pain in the butt about it. Once you get it on your bait, your lures, your live well, it's actually chemically designed so that you could jump in the water and go swimming and it doesn't wash off you. So you end up with a real mess on your hands with that stuff, that's for sure.
Use clothes, you get most all these clothes on the market these days.
And like I said, they're comfortable, they're cool. As a matter of fact, I've worn them many a times and they're just as cool. Probably cooler because your sun's not absorbing, or your skin's not absorbing the heat of the sun. It's usually when you start getting that red burn on your skin that you actually start to just feel hot inside. And so if you keep that burn from starting, you can stay pretty cool out there with long sleeves and like you said, that microfiber apparel, it really works well out there.
Yeah, as actually when you sweat, it actually cools it down and you still stay dry. It don't get soaked. It just amazes me how it works.
Well, even these guys that are doing roofing work, I've seen them use the same stuff that you pro staffers use when you're out fishing. If they're up on a roof and they're throwing shingles or something or boards, I mean, down here in Florida, it is hot. I mean, even without the sun reflecting that light. So these guys are up on roofs wearing the same type of clothing just to stay cool up there and get their work done. So it does work, that's for sure. It does work.
Yeah, we got redbone rods too.
Oh yeah, very nice. I love them. Matter of fact, I'm looking at them here. I'm at their website now. It's redbone.org/rods, or just go to redbone.org and click on redbone rods on the left. And yeah, very nice. I'm looking at, they got everything 6.5, 7, 7.5 foot. Very, very nice rods here. Up to 40-pound rating. Very nice.
Yeah, these are really, and they're new. They got the M7 blanks in them. If you want to look at these rods, any Sports Authority right now, they got them in stock. Go test them out, pick them up, see what you think about them. But this is, I had 3 rod companies wanted to sponsor me, and I picked Redbone. They always had a good product. The backbone of these rods, they're really light too, but the backbone, it's got a good curve to it. Usually on a rod, the backbone's like they're right there by your hand and up about a foot. But the backbone of this rod is up higher and rounded the curve, and then it curves like it needs to be. It's not, going straight out, or it's got a good backbone to it where you need to pull out that fish.
Yep, I understand exactly what you're saying. Absolutely.
And I throw a 7-footer. It's medium heavy, and all I mostly do is throw bait casters, and I throw lures all day long, and it gets tired. You get tired. But with the redbone, it's not killing me in the end of the day. It's light, but it's not too light where you can't throw. You don't want to. They got these rods out on the market right now. They're too light, and you can't get. The rod's not going to load right to throw that lure. You might be comfortable all day fishing it, but it's not going to load right. You pick these up, and it's almost lighter than them rods, but you don't need it that light. But these rods are strong. I'm really happy with them. I always like redbone or hurricane rods.
Oh yeah, they're nice. I'll tell you what too, Scotty, I'm not getting any younger, and I've honestly, my shoulders and my elbows, after about a couple hours, like you say, of casting, if you've got a heavy rod and you're using a heavy reel, I mean, it could really start to hurt after a while. Really a strong rod that's light and easy to handle. I love that. And again, my problem is, you get out there, like you said, and you start casting after a couple hours. If you've got a heavy rod, and most of these discount stores especially, if you go up to some store, buy them online. Heck, I bought a rod online about 2 months ago. This is a true story. I wanted to get myself one of those beach casters, so I thought, let me go online and look around, and I bought one from one of these online discount houses. I paid about $100, just under $100 for a rod and reel, and took it out, got it all ready to go, got it all strung up, went out to the beach. I took one cast, I reeled it in and looked up, and the tip of the rod was hanging on the second eye, of course. And I thought, well, you know, there went $100, you know. So it's so much worth it to buy a nice product like this. And the rod itself, I bet it weighed 3, 4, 5 pounds. I mean, with the reel and everything, I picked it up and cast it, and I thought, well, I'm going to get about 3, 4 casts, and I'm going to have to go to the doctor. I mean, this thing is just heavy.
Gotta go see a back doctor to get adjusted, you know?
It's the truth, Scotty, I'll tell you what. And, you know, if you're going to get out there and you're going to fish every day, you know, it's worth the money to buy a nice graphite rod like this. They're strong, I mean, just strong as an elephant, and light, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, look at these guys that are playing tennis, you know, and they're carrying a big tennis racket. All those gigantic rackets are made out of graphite. If you're swinging something around like that for a couple hours, you need something light and strong, and that has a little backbone to it, like you say. And so these graphite rods are just awesome.
Yeah, and they're not really expensive. At Sports Authority, I think they run like $89, and other places they're like $115. But you go to Sports Authority, they're like $89, and I think that's a great price for a really good rod.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I was pretty much the cheap angler, always threw, you know, got a $40 rod, and they would break, and down the road it's going to cost you because you keep on buying, you know, these cheaper rods, and they're heavy, you know, and my arms are, you know, hurting, and my elbows, and I'm on the tour with these, and I don't hurt. I'm tired, you know, just standing up, but I'm not, you know, my arms ain't killing me from throwing these baits all day and sight fishing, and it's really enjoyable now.
Absolutely. And like I said, that's my biggest thing. My shoulders, I mean, I just get arthritis in them. And back when I was young, we go to the gym and work out. And if I knew then what I know now, I'd be a much healthier guy today. And I just tore up my shoulders. And, you know, I get out there, honestly, you know, after about a half an hour with a heavy rod, not even a half an hour, I mean, my right shoulder just hurts. And not only that, but, you know, you're talking about stainless steel and graphite construction on the reel seats. And you look at even some of these rods they're selling for $100 at the discount stores here locally, and you know, you get a nice fish on there and you start wrenching down on that reel, and it's going to snap right out of that little plastic holder that they put on them. And you know, you get a rod like this, all graphite reel seat, a nice stainless steel seat for the reel. It's going to hold up. It's not going to break. The rod's not going to break. You know, the reel seat's not going to break, and you're going to be able to get that trophy fish to the boat without having to go, oh no, I broke my rod in half and I've got one eye on it, and he's heading for the mangroves. And you know, so it's you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but when you go to the Sports Authority or wherever you could get these rods, go ahead and bend it and listen for, you know, any rod, and do the bend and listen for any cracks, and you won't hear that from that red bone. You know, and just bend it and, you know, just test it out. As you said, the reel seats are, you know, reinforced. They got Fuji guides on them. Actually, my caster has got 10 eyes on it, and I love that. You got more eyes on a rod, you don't get that whip effect with your line. It's going to go straight through.
Yep, I understand exactly what you're saying.
You won't, you know, if you're fishing braid, you know, you throw out, especially with a spinner, you throw out with a spinner, it gets hit one time, and that back of the line's going to catch the line that's already thrown out.
Oh,
and that's
absolutely.
where you get them wind knots. And it's just so great when you have a whole bunch of eyes, and they're micro too. They're not, you know, real huge eyes on them poles.
Oh yeah, you know, I've lived that. You know, I like using a spinning reel, and I know that's kind of old school, but I'm a creature of habit. I just can't change now.
Yeah,
but,
I'll throw a spinning reel too. It's really easy when the fish are real close to the boat, and it's so light, and I can pitch that bait like you're golfing. You know, when you're, you don't want to go over the head, or, you know, because the redfish is going to see that. So that's real nice about a spinner, because I can just do a golf pitch to it, and then twitch it and catch it right out of the boat. You know.
Oh yeah.
And the spinners are really not. I love the spinning. I got 2 of them too, and I got a whole bunch of the bait caster ones because I throw a lot of them plugs.
Oh yeah.
And
you can get distance with those bait casters, that's for sure.
Yeah, and with the wind, you won't believe how far I can throw that plug. You know, with that bait caster. I mean, easy 100 yards almost. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get a nice wooden bait like impact lures, and you toss that sucker, it's going.
Yeah, it's gone. Especially that little twitch bait that you have 10-pound braided line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I use, like spider wire, and you can put on that little bait, and that thing will throw a long ways. You can reach anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I'll tell you what, too, and a lot of people that are listening probably don't realize this. Everybody likes to use braided line. It's strong. It holds up. It's great to cast. It's light. But if you don't have the right rod and reel, you're going to end up just wearing a hole right through the eye guides of your rod. Now, these ones here are Fuji. I mean, they're designed specifically to resist any kind of wear and tear due to that braided line. And now I was up here at the local Walmart looking at some poles. You know, I just can't resist. I go in there, I start looking around, and you can't help it. And
yeah, it's like we're like kids, you know,
like a kid in the toy store.
I know that's right.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm looking around, you know, and I'm thinking, well, you know, all of them have monofilament line, you know, already wrapped on them, ready to go. And there was a guy there buying a pole, and he was buying some braided line to put on it. And I looked at it and I said, you do know that that's a stainless steel eyes that you have on this pole, the eye guides. And he's like, so? I'm like, well, you're using braided line, you're going to get a couple of big fish, and you're going to cut a hole right through that top eye, or probably even wear out the reel. And so like I said, you know, a lot of people that buy these poles at the discount stores and they want to put braided line on them have no idea that they're probably just going to destroy that rod within a couple of months. And you really have to have a quality rod like these Hurricane Redbones. I mean, they're just nice, and they resist that.
Yeah, the eyes are made for braid, you know, so it won't cut right. Just like you said, it actually will cut right through that eye.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really, you know, I didn't pay attention. I really wasn't, you know, on the braid, you know, but then I found that out when it cut right through the eye, and I was like, why is that doing that? And I thought somebody was stepping on my pole.
Yep,
you know,
I did the same thing.
You just don't want me to catch a fish.
Yep. Matter of fact, I did it one time. I put some on because I was going snook fishing with a buddy of mine. I'm like, well, I'm going to try this braided line. You know, I want to see how good it is. And I used it for probably about a week or so, and I got a nice snook. We were out here in some of this backcountry area in Charlotte Harbor, and got a nice snook on, and he's running around the top. He jumped up once or twice, and then I feel this thump, and I thought he spit the hook. He didn't, and I looked up, and my line cut right through that, the lead eye at the end of the pole, and I went, oh no, you know, and then I did a little reading. I went, look at this, I've been using the wrong kind of fishing pole for this line. So yeah, you know, that's how I learned.
that's how you learn, you know, didn't have a clue. That's like cable, you know.
Absolutely, especially when you got a big fish on the end of the line pulling back and forth on it. It's like taking a piece of, well, we used to use, when I used to go camping, we'd have that wire saw, and you know, you put it around each finger and pull it across a piece of wood and be able to cut up some wood with it. And basically that braided line does the same thing to your reel and to your rod eyes. So yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Yep, matching up the right fishing rod with the right fishing line is very important. Sure do appreciate that, Scott. Great information, whether you're dealing with exposure to the sun, whether you're out buying a fishing rod, whether you're buying fishing lures, whether they're hard lures, whether they're soft baits. Scott really has some great information. We sure do appreciate it. In fact, we've got a couple more shows coming up with Scott to cover some products. We're going to be talking about some bait scent. Really cool stuff, and there's some other stuff. I know he's got a couple other ones he wanted to talk about. We're going to go over all of them. I really like the Pro Cure bait set one we're doing. Talks about how to use it, what works where, and what a variety they have too. So that's going to be coming up on his next show, and we also have some fishing reports coming up, so stay tuned. I've got actually one in Pasco County. We're going to call them today, and Scott turned us on to a bait shop up there in Pasco, and that should be great. They're actually in Palm Harbor. And it's called Bait Shack, and we're going to give them a call later on and see if we can get a fishing report out of them. And we'll be back with a lot of great information. Everything's going good on the network. Folks like Scott Larsen are helping us out, giving us great content, and people love them. I mean, we're getting fantastic feedback. People really enjoy hearing information coming right from the people that are testing the lures, that are testing the fishing rods, that are testing these products, that are out there on the water. seeing what works. So we sure do appreciate it, and we're going to be back again, I'm sure tomorrow or the next day with Scott to talk about some more fishing products and angling products and outrigging products. So we sure appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.